everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, February 6th, 2022. A blood test? Yes! A blood test! Because that is exactly what Dominic needs to find out that he has more parents. Is Y&R messing with us? Are they just messing with us at this point? Would they dare do a sperm switcheroo or an egg switcheroo on top of this already crazy story, just when I thought it couldn't get any crazier? Here we are! Here we are! Oh. Well, I'm all for it. In for a penny, in for a pound. I say, go ahead. Test that blood. Make sure you take plenty of blood. Do a double-blind taste test of that blood if you have to. Tell us who this kid belongs to, and let's get on with it. The only person who we know doesn't have a biological connection to Dominic is Chance. And Chance is a little too happy for my liking right now. Oh, everybody signed the custody papers this week, and Chance was the happiest I have ever seen him. Don't you think it's kind of strange that Chance got real happy, real comfortable, even started bonding with Dominic the second the custody decision was made? Now he's smiling, he's doing wacky hand motions, he's making funny faces in Mariah and Tessa's engagement party photos. He's planning date nights with Abby. No therapy needed. All the while, she's dying inside and he barely notices. I hate him. Oh my gosh, I think I am having some kind of breakthrough here, some kind of realization moment here. I think I hate Chance. What? Yes, I think that's exactly it. I hate Chance. There, I said it. I feel so much better now. I feel like I need a glass of champagne after that realization. Cause for celebration. Do you hate Chance too, Y&R chatters? Let's put a Chance Chancellor approval rating poll right here, because I have got to know if anyone other than me starts to seethe every time this guy floats in and floats out of a room like he's on cloud 9 now. Just a couple of weeks ago, Chance was too depressed to be a father. But the second he lightens his load, tosses the bread loaf out for the birds, everything is easy breezy for him. Back to work. What? Okay, I should reel it in. I don't want to hate Chance. I don't want to hate him. I feel like I don't even know him, and maybe that's part of it. I don't know Chance enough to really be able to dig into his reasoning and his frame of mind, but I want to. I want to like Chance. I don't want to be mad at Chance. Abby made her own decision here too. She was part of it. And Abby said this week, she knows that she made the right decision about Dominic's custody. And on that, I have to believe her. I have to take her word for it. If Abby says this is right, then this is right. But that doesn't mean that I have to like it. And I mean, who knows? At this point, who even knows if Abby will even be Dominic's mother by this time next week? Devon brought Neil's pen to the custody signing. Ooh, Neil's pen! Swoon! Am I supposed to swoon over that? Neil's pen? Well, if I'm gonna swoon, it's gonna be a sarcastic swoon, okay? I'm not letting Devon entirely off the hook either. I'm surprised that Devon didn't offer to be Mariah and Tessa's sperm donor too when they told him that they're working on starting a family. I mean, Devon is so good at being a sperm donor. Sure, I'll give you my sperm. Sure, I will help you make your dreams of having a family come true. But then a year later, I'm going to change my mind and threaten you with legal action. See my girlfriend here in the white pants? She's a lawyer. But I'm not going to let that spoil the party. No, I'm not. I love a party, so... I'm just going to focus on that. I am very happy for Mariah and Tessa. Now, it's true that Y&R has not always and does not always handle the writing for this couple in the very best of ways, but here, this week, we have an example of two people who love each other, two people who choose to be together, and they are surrounded by family. It's a family who loves and supports them, and I love and support that. This is a scenario that not every couple in Mariah and Tessa's situation has support of their family and friends. So I think that should be celebrated right alongside Mariah and Tessa. Everything about their engagement party looked lovely to me. I loved Faith's whimsical decor at the coffee house, and I loved Moses's descriptions of Faith's whimsical decor. He is a cutie. He has personality plus. I want more Moses. He's adorable. The whole thing was adorable. The cake, the hors d'oeuvres on the table, the presents. Well, the present. How about that big fake gift box? Just pop the top off. No fuss, no muss. No need to unwrap anything. I say that's convenience. But you know, if I were Kevin and I was going to gift someone a giant shield as a gift, I would definitely want to be there in person to see the look on Mariah's face when it was opened, and also to apologize to Tessa for the giant monstrosity I have just saddled her apartment with forever. They're going to be stuck dragging around this giant shield for years. It will become a point of contention between them. Like, when are we going to be able to get rid of the shield? I don't want to offend Kevin, but no. Oh, Mariah loved it, though. It's her thing. It's their thing. I thought that was a cute tie-in to Mariah and Kevin's past relationship. I think Y&R felt the need to give that friendship a nod, but since we all know that Greg Ricard is not around very much right now, I think that's all they really could give us, which, by the way, is all the more reason that I would like to see Chloe have an affair with Adam. Just saying. Not gonna let it go. But this is Tessa and Mariah's moment. They are the guests of the hour, and I loved that beautiful music that highlighted Tessa's beautiful voice. Oh, I just sunk into that. Not typically the type of music I listen to. I think I like something with a little more, more of a rock and roll. I like more of a fast-paced beat, I think. But but her music was so relaxing. It helped me just kind of relax into the scene, ease into everything. But I also really liked the silly photos that gave every one of the guests a chance to kind of let loose and get easy too. But oh, the only guest who was not feeling easy, the only guest who was not having fun was Noah. And not just because of his usual lovelorn mopery. No. Noah was extra mopey. Noah was extra this week and at the party because he now has been busted. Last week I asked you guys, should Tessa tell Mariah about Noah's slip up? And boy, if 68% of you didn't say yes, 68% of you said yes, Tessa needs to tell Mariah. And this week, that is exactly what Tessa did, which added a nice extra layer of awkward to the party that I appreciated. Especially during that, moment and moments after moments where we watched Noah just tossing back the glasses of champagne one after another, scene after scene. And I think all of the viewers were collectively cringing when he insisted on making a toast. I think we all expected Noah to do or say something foolish in that toast, just like we've all been expecting Noah to turn dark or do something irrational. But he has done no such thing yet. Noah hasn't done anything wrong yet. He just quietly broods and quietly stares, and yes, it's self-absorbed, and yes, it's annoying, and yeah, it's overplayed for the audience. But in the end, Noah wishes them well. Whether he means it or not, we don't know, but he wishes them well. He says, if I'm not going to make a big production out of it, and if he's not going to make a big production out of it, then I think I would not want to either. In the end, I don't think I would have made the same decision that Tessa made to tell Mariah about Noah's slip-up, but I think Tessa handled it all really, really perfectly, because first and foremost, Tessa remembered where her loyalty lies. Her loyalty lies with Mariah, and there's enough history there to where Tessa said to herself, I'm not going to make this mistake again. So she told Mariah exactly what happened. She did not sugarcoat it. She did not also make a bigger deal out of it than it was. And in turn, Mariah had this very rational, almost unexpected reaction. Mariah didn't freak out. She was shocked, but I think she was shocked most of all because she didn't notice it. I think Mariah was shocked that she couldn't see this going on in the background with her own brother. She had no idea, and that's a dangerous feeling. Feeling like you were in the dark about something. Noah has been Mariah's brother for longer than Tessa has been Mariah's lover. So Mariah pretty quickly gives Noah the benefit of the doubt. Mariah pretty quickly rationalizes it right along with Tessa. They both agreed that maybe Noah was just feeling lonely, and so therefore he fixated on Tessa. I thought that was a really interesting choice of words there, though. Fixated. He fixated on Tessa. But both Mariah and Tessa said, it happens. I kind of understand it. Noah's a stand-up guy, though, and we trust him, and we're pretty sure this is all going to work itself out. Pretty sure it's all going to work itself out well. I mean, maybe not. In soap world, I will say that this kind of reaction, it's probably okay reaction, just with everybody being so cool about it and so sure that Noah's cool about it, that type of reaction does bode eerie. I'll give you that. Also, right away, Noah picked up on the vibe that Tessa had told Mariah, and he was not happy. And I will say, I think this moment was probably the first time that I picked up on that flash of dark Noah, of a darker Noah, that there was something really, really going on beneath the surface there. You guys have been predicting that for weeks now. He certainly seemed to feel hurt and, maybe betrayed. He seemed to be suppressing some pretty intense emotions there, maybe even anger. He lied to Nick and made up an excuse to leave their business meeting, which is something that we have seen him do more and more. He has made up this fake social life, this false social life, so that he has an excuse to run away and brood or whatever. But where does he go? What does he do? And more importantly, I guess, what is he going to do now? What is Noah going to do now? Just what are you up to, Ashland Locke? Michael tells us this week that there is something fishy about Ashland's miracle Peruvian cancer cure facility, and so it turns out Ashland owns the facility. That's right, he owns it through a shell corporation. Ooh, it's been a good long while since we've had a shell corporation. Y&R must know what I want. Shell corporations, I think that's fun. Victor is sending Michael to Peru to investigate this situation. Of course, that's much to the adorable chagrin of Lauren. I love it. But the thing is, we've all been speculating that Ashland was up to something for a while now. I don't know if this is a situation where the viewers have kind of gotten ahead of the story a little bit, but I feel I have absolutely no idea what it is Ashland could be up to. I don't feel like I have any evidence at all. Was Ashland sick? Was he not sick? Is he still sick? And what is his end game, if anything? I don't know. Ashland hasn't really benefited in any way. In fact, he's worse off than he was when he married Victoria. He lost control of his company, and he's been relegated to being Victoria's second-hand man. I think Victoria had better carve out some kind of position for him before he carves it out for himself. Because out of one side of her mouth, she seems to imply that Ashland has some crumb of power, but then she squawks at any decisions that he makes on his own. So what is it? And I don't see Ashland doing exactly anything. He seems to take it all on the chin. He seems to let Victoria have the power, or at least the illusion of power. But he did also admit this week to Nate that he regrets giving up some control of his company while he was in the middle of his treatments. It was in the middle of these treatments, when he started to get better, that he realized he wished he wouldn't have given up so much control. He misses being in the game, and he's looking for opportunities to get in. That's what we're seeing. Ashland looking for opportunities to get back in. Everyone else around him has all of the control while he fetches Victoria's coffee. I wouldn't be particularly happy with that position either. But I don't know whether I'm supposed to be suspicious of him or whether I'm supposed to feel bad for him. Victoria has him on a tight leash, and it's too tight, maybe. If it gets too tight, he is going to turn around and bite her. The Adam versus Victoria Battle Royale is the best thing that's happened in Y&R recently, if you ask me. It's well worth the price of admission, if you ask me. Victoria is so deliciously evil. Busting out the tape measurer to measure Adam's office so that she can send it to her interior decorator. Oh, that was hands down my favorite Victoria moment in I don't know how long. It was just so wrong, it was right. Thinking she was gonna deter Adam from taking the job. Oh, but it has already backfired on her. Sally convinced Adam that merging the Newmans is actually a step up for him. He will go from being CEO of one company to being CEO of two companies. And furthermore, Sally reminds Adam that Victoria is no match for him. He will have equal power to hers, and he can outwit her. He has more cunningness than she does. Adam is very well poised to go head to head with Victoria and to win. Oh. So, Adam plastered the fakest smile across his face like he was Team Newman all the way, and he walked into Victoria's office and he told her that he was going to take that job. I just love this so much, and I want Adam dreaming of hanging his portrait on that wall someday. Maybe even someday soon. Goodbye, Newman fashion. I will not miss you. I will be glad to stop seeing Chloe, Chelsea, and Sally trying to work together. And I hope we're going to start seeing them competing against each other. Ugh. Victoria killed the fashion platform. Not a moment too soon for me. And Chelsea and Chloe are ready to strike out on their own. Chelsea and Chloe are more than capable of striking out on their own. They have an enduring friendship and a trust that was evidenced, I suppose, in that series of surprising flashbacks that we got of Chelsea and Chloe's relationship, or perhaps it was just one flashback, but it was, I think, must have been from around the time that Connor was born, because Chelsea was asking Chloe to become Connor's godmother, so that tells me that it must be from around the time that Delia died, I guess. And Connor got Delia's corneas. Ugh, worst period of Y&R ever. Ugh. And let us not forget that the same people in charge of that period of Y&R are still in charge now. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever forget it. You just never know. But, Chelsea and Chloe do have a long history. They have a long friendship. It certainly is evidence that they've stuck with each other. There must be something there. They've endured a lot. They've both owned their own businesses before. So I think this is a right move for them. But starting a business means you need funding. So where do they go? Well, Lauren. Of course. Big bucks Lauren. I, just on a side note, really have been loving seeing Lauren right now. I love her little scenes with Michael. I loved her scene with Chloe and Chelsea. Lauren just has a sexy sassiness about her that I want more of, but she should never in a million years consider hiring Chelsea back in any form into her company. Chelsea straight up stole money from Fenmores. Chelsea had some kind of elaborate scam to sell knockoffs of her Chelsea 2.0 or Chelsea 22.0 or whatever line, and she left Lauren whipping in the wind. Just stole the money and left Lauren to eat it. Oh, but I guess all is forgiven. Oh, you're sorry? Okay. All's forgiven. I'm fine with it. Again, only because of plot. I feel like I'm getting my wish. This is exactly what I asked for. It makes sense to me that Chloe and Chelsea's fashion business should be under the Fenmores umbrella, sitting right next to Gloria at JCV. Yes, it works on multiple levels. This brings Chelsea and Chloe into Fenmores right alongside Gloria. I'm telling you, I must be on a lucky streak or something. I'm gonna start dreaming of the day that we actually get to see the Fenmores boutique again. I mean, since my wishes are being granted here. So, Chelsea and Chloe will land on their feet, but where does this leave Sally? Unemployed? Begging for change on the Crimson Lights patio? Nope. Adam's not going to let that happen. No, Adam offers Sally a job working for him in the media business. Now, okay, I'll go ahead and be the lone dissenter here. I'm not dissenting that Adam and Sally are hot, but this is what I feel. I kind of wished they would stop working together so that the power balance between them could be on a little bit more equal footing. We did a poll a couple of weeks ago about workplace romance, and it convinced me that the whole dating the boss dynamic is over. It's icky. It doesn't need to be done this century. I know we've done it so many times in the past. It's what soaps are built on. I mean, yes, but it just doesn't feel right for now in this span of time. I would really rather see Adam and Sally having unrelated jobs. I don't want her reporting to him. And second of all, Sally Spectra is a designer. I mean, the fashion platform's gone from the media piece. So does that mean Sally is going to be working in media? Sally's not a media personality or a business mogul, she shouldn't be satisfied just doing office work for Adam. I need Sally to bring bold and the beautiful flavor to Y&R. I need Sally to show me some designs. I need Sally to show me some fabric swatches. She's the legacy of Sally Spectra Sr. as beautifully played by Darlene Connolly. That's what I need this Sally to be. Sally had the chops to take over her aunt's business, and she almost single-handedly revived Spectra Fashions. So since when does this woman need her boyfriend to hand her a job? That's what I don't like about it. I'm just not willing to sacrifice on that to get the hot kisses, but whatever. Okay, fine. In the spirit of consolidation, I will let it go. But Sally had better be seen in one form or fashion having a tape measurer hanging around her neck. One of these days soon. Or, I don't know, maybe judging by the previews for next week, Sally will be bunny hopping around Adam's office with his tie hanging around her neck. Somebody must have called a housekeeper because Y&R is sweeping up. Several stories this week. I can feel them sweeping it up. First of all, Y&R is giving us a story about Nate. A story where Nate is involved, at least. This week, Nate was even daring to talk about his hand injury. I was so impressed. I mean, not only is Nate being reflective about the career that he lost, But Nate also connected it back to his relationship with Elena when Elena mentioned that she felt guilty about all of that because, after all, it was Nate and Elena's night of illicit hospital sex, clinic sex, cot sex, that prompted Devon to fly off the handle and punch Nate into a table of glassware. I had totally forgot about all of that shadowy post-COVID hospital cot sex. This feels promising because, more importantly, we're seeing the beginnings of Nate deciding to do some work around Newman Enterprises. We're further fluffing out the corporate roster here. He and Elena can be seen roaming the halls there together for Ask MD Now, and maybe Nate could even be the one to help us get to the bottom of Ashland's potential fakery. I think we don't have enough medical story to drive Nate to use, him being a doctor or whatever. So I think it really makes sense to use the Ask MD Now piece of it to have him having a corporate job, but also maybe Y&R leaves him as an administrator at the hospital, leaves Elena also working at the hospital so that we can use them in that capacity as needed. I think this is good. And that's just one example. Y&R is also giving us suddenly a little bit of backstory for Faith. Faith has decided this week that she wants to follow in her aunt and her sister's footsteps, and she wants to become a part of the business world someday. She is searching for colleges. She is maybe moving away, or I don't know, maybe deciding to attend GCU, maybe taking an internship at Newman Enterprises or New Hope. I don't know, but I think it's great. I think it's really great. It's a signal that Y&R's folding her into some stories, which is what I've been asking for. Especially, I think this is great because even though I think the actress who plays Faith is adorable. Did you see her cute little hat? She's just cute as a button, and she plays nice really well. But I'll tell you what, I could totally see this actress flipping Faith into being a Hellraiser, and I think that would be really fun too. The only loose end that I'm not really sure about still is Nick. We have seen Nick giving pause this week about the fact that Michael is working with Victor again, and Nick seems to be on the outside of the Newman family action, just sort of noticing it, commenting on it a little bit. He seemed to just take it on the chin that everyone in the Newman family is working together, except him. He has his passion for New Hope, and now he has his son working with him, but I don't know, without other employees besides Noah, I'm just not sure there's a lot of momentum there. I don't know. Maybe Nick will be too busy rekindling his love story with Sharon to get any work done. For someone who usually knows exactly what she wants, Phyllis is being uncharacteristically vague. I get the feeling that Phyllis wants it both ways. I get the feeling that if Jack and Nick respected her decision and told her that she should go to Milan and take the job with Summer, then Phyllis would say, they don't care about me. But I feel like if Jack or Nick begged her to stay, she would say that they weren't being respectful of her decision and her choices. So I don't know how you win. Phyllis just needs it to be about Phyllis all the time. That's the truth. But it's crazy, isn't it, that Jack is finally back, and the moment that we actually get Jack back, now Michelle Stafford is off on vacation, but she did say something to the fans about it only being for a week. I think she's only on a week vacation, and she'll be back. So, you know, the character of Phyllis has gone to Milan to take a trial run on what life would be like there, and then presumably Phyllis will come back and give us her decision. Will she stay or will she go? Well, judging by that little fantasy scene where she throws herself into Jack's arms and begs him to tell her that they're meant to be together, well, I'm going to guess that Phyllis will be staying in Genoa City to make her fantasies come true. Like a hell's angel. I loved that line from last week. It was part of Tessa's description of what Mariah's constellation in the stars would be. She was a badass, like a hell's angel. Oh, I wish we could see more of that Mariah. Well, Sherry, Sherrod, Henry, Cheryl, and Tina, you guys all guessed that right. Here is another line for the week. One beautiful conundrum. Who said that? One beautiful conundrum. I like that description. Do you know who said it? If you do, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Well, let's get down to business here. Gary says, blood tests. And we aren't even having to wait another 3 years into the story. Oh, I hope this is all coming down on Devon like a ton of bricks. Are the signed papers a done deal at this point? Devon will still be able to assert control, but you can take Winters off the birth certificate and insert Stitch. I mean, Chancellor. Oh, it's too good to be true, and maybe it is. Maybe. You know, that was my thought. I did have that initial thought with, okay, well, what if it was Chance's sperm by some crazy mix-up? I don't know, but I gotta say, Sherrod says, well, rumors have it could be coming down on Abby. It seems that the wrong eggs may have been fertilized. You know the saying, just when I thought I was out, you pulled me back in. Mariah has finally let go, but Abby reminds us at the engagement party that it was all 3 of their baby. She even signed the poster noting Dom, a.k.a. Bowie. Devon told her she could come over whenever he has Dominic, and since we know that Abby will not want to give the baby to Mariah, we will get the court battle and all other drama that will come with it. I just about dropped my jaw to the floor. Bam, bam, Sherrod. I mean, you were right about predicting that Mariah would become Abby and Chance's surrogate, so I'm kind of feeling like I might have to trust you on this one. You might be right. It was so weird that we had that moment between Abby and Mariah and Devon where they all held hands, and Abby said, "This is our baby." Why didn't I think of that? That, oh my gosh, it might turn out that Mariah's egg was used. Oh, this is crazy. Which would make Mariah the biological mother, Devon the biological father, and I don't know where that leaves Abby and Chance, but you're predicting that this is what gets us the court battle and all the other drama that will come with it. Oh my goodness. Just when I think I'm out, I'm back in. I think I'd probably rather be out at this point. It's a little too much, but I'm in. I'm still in. Superplex says, if these writers had a nanogram of creativity and guts, the father would be Stitch. So much juicy, soapy potential arriving from that storyline. Yes, and Diana says, I think it would be exciting and very unexpected if Stitch were to come back to town and tried to kidnap baby Dominic from Devon's penthouse. This scenario would give Abby and Chance a leg up on Devon and a reason to end the shared custody in a courtroom battle. They could argue that Devon was not capable of keeping their son safe, and as Allie recently pointed out, we don't have any villains on the show at this moment. Stitch's storyline was left unresolved when he left town. It would be realistic, as we don't know if Stitch received therapy and is still the same mentally unstable person he was before. His motive could be revenge on Abby for not reciprocating the feelings he has for her. Chance could be the hero that saves his son, giving Chance hope at restoring and mending his feelings of being an inadequate father to Dominic. Protecting Dominic from danger would then give Chance a second chance at being the hero he couldn't be for his crew in Spain. This would then bring everything full circle, as Devon was the hero for Mariah and Dom, and now Chance is the hero for his son and his family. That's so good. I was thinking that too as a potential scenario, because we I think we've been kind of predicting that or kicking that idea around for a couple of weeks, that Stitch could end up being the biological father, or at least just as you're saying, that Stitch could just kind of come back to enact something. His story was left totally unresolved. We know nothing more about him. We don't know where he is. We don't know anything. It's too bad, because there were viewers who were interested in Stitch's story. There were people who were connected to him from when he was on the show previously, and then to just turn him into a crazy guy and then to leave it hanging with no resolution is quite unsatisfying. I don't know if I think Y&R is going to bring him on, though. I think you're right that it would give us a little bit of a villain, a little bit of a challenge, and I mean, the story that you're laying out here, Diana, is phenomenal. I just don't know if they're going to go that direction. Seems like they're probably more so trying to parse out the cast that they have. Well, let's, in another direction, talk on a different topic now. Daisy says, I like that Adam gave Sally a job. Now, Adam has an advocate by his side. It also gives Sally something else to do besides argue with Chelsea. And who knows, maybe Sally will be the Newman's hero who discovers Ashland's plan to take over the world. Or, well, maybe just Newman Enterprises. Yes, it's not that I have any kind of problem with the Adam and Sally pairing. I just don't like the power dynamic there. I think it's icky. But I do like, as you say, Daisy, that it gives Adam an advocate by his side. He was certainly starting to feel down. He was feeling like, I'm kind of on the outside looking in again. And Sally was the one who boosted him up. Sally was the one who gave him the pep talk. Sally was the one who, it seems, gave him the reminder that he's Adam freaking Newman and he should get in there and fight. And so, yeah, I think you're right. She's a good person to have by his side. I want to see her doing something independent, something on her own, something where she's being Sally Spectra. Sue W. says, quite surprisingly to me, I've come to really like Sally Spectra. Even her style. What? I now actually sympathize with her, kinda, and really want to see her stick it to the currently most awful person ever to grace Genoa City. Ugh. Tyrana B. Reformed Psycho Gal Chelsea. Tyrana B. Reformed Psycho Gal Chelsea. Chelsea is so off the wall and snotty these days that I am now Sally's biggest fan. Go wacky, but sorry, still kind of bad. Style, girl. Show us what you got. I hope you run with it. Yeah, I want her to run with it, too. Jamie says, I, too, have grown to like Sally. I'm rooting for her. Once she moved on from the Summer Kyle Jack Tara mess, her personality and bold resilience won me over. I've completely shifted from Sally hater to Team Sally. Oh. Sherrod says, I must say, Courtney Hope looked so beautiful today. I loved the hair color, and it being swept back in a ponytail was a great choice. Oh, and the other thing, too, is, boy, I kind of like Sally's braids. Did you see the way, I think it was on, I don't know, Thursday maybe, her braids were braided sort of up in an upward motion over the side and then swept over to the other side, which gave her a lot of fullness on the other side. She always does have really interesting hair, really interesting style, and it's becoming more refined, as Sue W says. We're starting to get a better sense of it, and it's gelling a little bit better. I like it. Ellen says, I just saw that Courtney Hope's brand new marriage is over already. I hope she's okay. And Sherrod responds, yes, apparently they're ending their marriage after only about 8 weeks. Kind of weird after being together for years. I hope she's okay as well. Okay, so yeah, I did see this. So the Courtney Hope, who plays Sally, was dating Chad Duval, I think is his name. He has a role on General Hospital. She was dating him for 5 years. They were together for quite a long time. And then, how long was it? How long ago? A couple months ago, they had this wedding ceremony that was very visually striking. It seemed to have kind of a gothic or a steampunk kind of theme. She was wearing a red wedding dress and had this really just elaborate outfit on, and the Chad also was dressed, and all the guests had on, canes and hats, and it was very kind of steampunk, I would say, is a good way to describe it. It was alternative and just very interesting, and there are lots of photos of it if you haven't seen it. And then, so together for 5 years, they have this whole wedding ceremony, and then 8 weeks, they break up, and then, they don't really comment about it or anything. It's just like, we're broken up now. Okay, so they didn't comment on it, and then I saw an article this week where Chad did an interview, and he had nothing but nice things to say about Courtney. But then the strange piece of it was, he said they actually didn't get married. They did a ceremony, but they didn't actually sign anything, so they were actually never married, which makes the whole situation all the more puzzling and just makes me want to know what the heck happened here. They were together for 5 years. They have a wedding ceremony that wasn't really legal, and then they break up 8 weeks later. It's definitely a head scratcher. It kind of gives you a lot of behind the scenes, or it sort of gives you that soap opera flair from behind the scenes. Almost like, is this a publicity stunt or something? I'm sure it wasn't, but it's just so soapy behind the scenes, I can't even stand it. Well, let's dig into Sally's biggest foe here, Chelsea. Victoria says, what? Chloe is grateful to Chelsea for all she's done for her? I think the scoreboard should be even or over on Chloe's side. Chloe, remember, you were set up for Ray's poisoning. Then your good friend held it over your head. Also, Chelsea doesn't seem very grateful for all your work on the fashion platform. It's time to demand the respect you earned. Yeah, I thought that too in the scene. Chelsea and Chloe were kind of going back and forth, talking about their friendship and whatnot. And I was thinking the same thing. Like, Chloe, I don't know how you ever forgave her for tricking you into the Ray poisoning. But Ellen says Chelsea isn't that person anymore. Right? Can I have a $10 bill for every time we've heard that? It's just that not every character is eligible for the all is forgiven hand wave. But apparently Lauren is willing to let a little embezzlement be forgotten. So what if Chelsea has recently also done some poisoning and attempted framing, and Chloe was her accomplice? They seem like perfect business partners. Smooth sailing ahead. That is both funny and true, Ellen. Yes, Chelsea gets a second chance, but let's talk also about Chelsea and Chance. I'm kind of wondering, what is it that we suddenly have been seeing Chelsea and Chance bonding a lot here? We haven't really talked about it. What's going on? They were bonding this week over the biological, parented connection. Chelsea's Johnny's biological mother, and yet is not involved as such in his parenting. She doesn't have a parent role, whereas Chance is not Dominic's biological father, but does have the parenting role. But it seems like Y&R is taking opportunities to have these guys catch up with each other. So I'm wondering, are we going to be seeing a Chelsea and Chance romance in the future? It almost seems written on the wall. Herman says, if Y&R wants to give me a love story with Sally and Chelsea, I'm here for it. Their bickering is starting to remind me of all those romantic comedies where the end of the movie, the happy couple starts off hating each other. The pairing of Chally, or Chelsea, would be a lot more fire and passion than Teriah, so I'm here for it. Oh my goodness, Sally and Chelsea. There's an idea. Well, let's talk about Teriah. Sherrod says, to me, actions speak louder than spoken words. Noah can say that he is happy for Mariah and Tessa, but he doesn't really mean it. That is why he couldn't write it down. Words said into the air dissipates, but written words last forever. And Noah doesn't want Tessa and Mariah to last at all. I like this comment a lot because I think there's an interesting debate here. So, if actions speak louder than words, the question is it wrong to want something that isn't yours if you don't act on it? Should we judge Noah purely for his feelings? Is it more wrong for Noah to love Tessa than it is for Mariah to love Tessa? Is love ever wrong, particularly if it's emotion and not action? I think that's an interesting question. I think Sherrod might argue that Noah has already taken action. Sherrod says, Noah is like the smart fox who befriends the hens by telling them that he will look out for them and that they have nothing to fear. So they let him into the hen house, and little by little, the hens start disappearing. The other hens question the fox as to what's happening, and the fox's response is, I don't know, I've been trying my best. Then, when it gets down to one single hen, she realizes that it was the fox all along and confronts him, and then he replies, well, of course it was me, I'm a fox, you should have known better. And he proceeds to eat her with glee. That's Noah. Dang, that is a good little piece of poetry right there, Sherrod. And that may very well be the case, certainly. But Gary argues there are no villains in this story as of yet. I think I agree. I think that's where I landed on it so far. We have yet to see Noah really take action. But that may very well be coming. I mean, we might be there, but I don't know that we're there yet. The audience isn't quite inside of Noah's head. We just get the stares and this and that, and so we don't have a whole lot to base it on, but it may very well be coming. Let's talk about that Newman celebration at Society. Victoria says, that looked awkward, celebrating with champagne at Society and having everyone get their own glasses off the tray. Nikki is a recovering alcoholic. How does she know which one was intended for her? Do all the waiters at Society know to give Nikki sparkling cider or non-alcoholic champagne? Adam needs to get his Tums ready. He will have to swallow more than just champagne. So, was every Y&R chatter, like me, looking at the tray of champagne and seeing Nikki pull one off the tray and just sucking it back? I think everybody had to have been looking at that scene thinking, Nikki's a recovering alcoholic. She should not be drinking that. And there was no indication that it was non-alcoholic champagne. Even Faith and Moses got an indication that they were drinking non-alcoholic champagne, but not that big, lush Nikki. We all had to have been screaming at our screens in that moment. I'm glad to know it wasn't just me. I have a feeling it was everyone. Ellen says, could Victoria be more obnoxious? Is this supposed to be a sign of strength? If she wasn't threatened by Adam, she wouldn't feel the need to run over to his office and brag and insult him. She just looks weak and petty. It's a sad display. Yes, it is sad and it is petty, but darn it if I don't find it entertaining. And the Victoria's pettiness is what's going to make it all the more juicy and fun to watch her downfall. Superplex asks, is Victor ever going to find out that Victoria lied to him about her putting an end to Billy's foolish scheme to hoodwink Adam, what led to Adam's banishment in internal exile in the first place? Or is lying going to be rewarded from now on? Yeah, that's a good darn question. Everything that Adam is being blamed for, Victoria was the one who pushed the domino. I don't think it'll ever be found out. I think it's going to be all Ashland from here on out. And Y&R viewer 123 says, I just found out that Robert Newman will start appearing on Y&R as Ashland next week. Aside from that, many of his fans are commenting that they will start watching Y&R again. Looks like the ratings are going up. Oh yes. And I think that is just the point. Isn't that just the point in why they cast him? Jamie says it's going to be an epic and delicious feast of just desserts watching Victor expose Ashland's fraudulent cancer ruse. An epic and delicious feast of just desserts. Yes, what a beautiful description, and I'm looking forward to it. The thing is, though, now that they've cast Robert Newman, I'm gonna guess he's gonna want to keep this gig. You know, I mean, this gig would be perfect for him as a former soap star. I mean, this is probably a dream job for this guy. I'm sure Y&R wants to keep him around as long as possible. So I'm not counting on a one-dimensional villain, aha, I just faked my cancer kind of story. There's got to be a nuance there if Y&R has intention of retaining the Ashland character and wanting the viewers to connect with him. They've got to give him a story. They've got to give him a reason. And maybe that's part of the reason why we are seeing Ashland get sidelined a little bit by Victoria. I feel, I don't know that he's faked his cancer, but from what I've seen that's on the surface, I feel a little bad for him sometimes. Like, yeah, Victoria's not always real. She acts like this is our business, this is our thing, but she darn well wants everything to be exactly her way. There's no second place, there's no co-CEOs, Victoria's running the show, and Ashland just has to like it or lump it. Well, congratulations for coming back from your cancer, so glad to hear you're doing well, but you're darn well going to take a menial role in the company because Victoria's in charge. Leslie says, so is Michael working as a private investigator? He could start a firm with Chance. Leslie, I think that's a pretty darn good idea. You have a good idea here. We don't have a private investigator in this town right now, and that's exactly the job that Michael's doing. He's not doing any lawyering. I mean, the fact that he's making phone calls, and going to Peru, he's private investigating. So I think that's a really good point that Michael could maybe become a private investigator, or perhaps Chance could become a private investigator, and I think that's a good step. Of course, we already had a private investigator at one time that did the job pretty darn well. And on that note, I'll end on my favorite comment of the week, which comes from Daisy. Daisy says, I love seeing Victor and Michael working together again. Although, a problem could arise when Michael discovers that Victor has been holding Paul captive in the basement. But Victor lets him know he would never do that well to Paul. But together they search for an answer and discover that Ashland was holding Paul hostage because Paul had discovered the truth about Ashland. Not just his name or how he acquired the company, but that Ashland is planning to take over Newman Enterprises, getting rid of the name and firing all of the Newmans who work there. And with Paul recovering from his injuries in a secret location, Victor and Michael are on the case to shut down and stop Ashland before any part of his plan comes to fruition. That is so fun, Daisy. It's totally unlikely. I think Doug Davidson is gone, but that is like the funnest idea of the week. It's like, if we don't get the Paul that the viewers seem to like and respond to, then I think we've just got to create our own scenarios in our mind, and this one fits the bill. It all leads back to Paul. Well, I will end up here by wishing a happy birthday to Michelle. Michelle's birthday is going to be on Thursday. That's February 10th. And I wonder, Michelle, are you going to have a cake? And Y&R, maybe all things will lead back to Paul. With me, everything leads back to food. What is your birthday cake, Michelle? Because on Thursday, I will imagine myself making it for you. Does that work for you? Or if you don't like cake, maybe a birthday meal. Do you guys do birthday cakes, birthday meals? My mom's birthday was last week, and I always make her a birthday cake, and her birthday cake is a carrot cake. Do you like that? Oh, it's just so good. It's like a spice cake with shredded carrots and pecans in it, and a cream cheese frosting. It's really sweet and really decadent and kind of good for this time of year where it's so cold. But the cake has been a real problem for me because, it was a whole cake, and I had to take home half of it, and I thought to myself, well, I'm going to portion it out. I'm going to put some of it in the freezer. So I had one piece of leftover cake. I put the rest in the freezer, and I'm telling you, by the second day, it was in the freezer for less than 24 hours before I was pulling it out of the freezer and eating it. And then I said to myself, okay, fine, I'm not going to put it back in the freezer. I know myself. So I have it in the fridge. And like every day it was calling to me. So I had just been eating on this leftover birthday carrot cake it didn't even take me that long, maybe 2-3 days, and it was gone, because by the end I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna eat it and then it'll be gone and I'll be done with it. And it's like this whole it's like this damn sword hanging over my head, this carrot cake. Oh, goodness. What else was I going to say? Speaking of how cold it is, we got a lot of snow here. Did you guys get a whole lot of snow where you are? We're absolutely buried in it here. I was just glad that the internet didn't go out, didn't lose power or anything, so that I could have my Y&R for 5 days for the week. Oh, just please don't let the power go out. I don't care. I don't mind being snowed in. I'm a recluse anyway. I'm not going anywhere, but I cannot have the power out. I've got to have internet, so I got to watch Y&R. Priorities! What are your opinions this week? You should go to yrchat.com to tell me. Tell me what you think about Chance, too, because, I'm going to get there. I know I'm going to get back to liking him. I need some character building on him or something. It's just every time I see him floating around with his happy little smile. And then I contrast that with Abby having all these longing looks of like, my life is not turning out the way I thought it was going to. I just have no choice but to feel empathy for her, and that makes me mad at him. Because he's always like, it's fine, babe. Let's have a date night. Well, where did this guy come from? Where did this happy Chance come from? Why couldn't he have been happy and well-adjusted 2 weeks ago? And then to deny therapy? And then to go back on saying that he was not gonna go back to work, and now he's going back to work? Well, gee, everything's just working out for Chance. Everything's coming up Chance. Well, good for him. I should get some fun comments about that this week. I look forward to it. And I will see you all next Sunday. I hope you have a wonderful week. I love you.